So there is the photo of the 2013 Falling Walls cohort. Apologies. It's not a very good photo, and I did mean to get it in the previous episode. But anyway, this now brings us to the beginning of 2014. So the remainder of 2013, told you guys about the holidays, how that went. I didn't really get too much into applying to schools, but basically I had applied to 4 colleges. I applied to the University of California, Santa Barbara, Irvine, Davis, Berkeley. I guess it was, those 4. And that because I was already attending UCLA, one would think that the process to transfer from the University of California to University of California is very straightforward. I think I've already gone into this in another part, but they do not make it easy. It is insanely difficult. And I know I've probably already said this before, but I literally had to do like 5 years of college in 4. So again, that will come more anyway. So I applied to 4 schools. The UC filing is always done in November. So again, you hear back typically March, May. This brings us to, like I said, the beginning of 2014. And at this point, even though I was running my business, even though I had seen some success, like I had even been interviewed by the online blog of the Today Show. That was around this time, I'm pretty sure, around right after the holidays, if I'm not mistaken. I could be off. Again, it's been a minute, but again, what I'm putting down is that I realized that if I took a couple classes at community college, that I could get some loans, that I could get a little bit of financial aid, and that it would make my life a little bit easier. Because I was also all of like freaking, 19 years old. Another thing that happened during this time, I don't know if I've already mentioned this, but Jane bought me tickets for driving school for Christmas. And that was literally the best Christmas present ever. Like, I don't know if y'all realize how LA works, but you can't live in LA without being able to drive. And I'm shocked that I did up until this point. So learning how to drive and being able to drive, maybe I'll talk about that more in the next part, because that's an experience of itself. But I want to finish up or at least talk about applying to community college, because that, I mean, it was a whole, other thing, but, and the whole purpose of financial aid, even that was not as straightforward as I expected it to be. But long story short, I took 4 classes. I took history of rock and roll. I took a blues class. I took a German class. And then I took differential calculus. I lasted in Diffie Qs for like maybe 3 weeks. They ripped me a new one. I could in no way compete with these people. Like, holy, yeah, it was bad. I remember I hired a tutor. I spent so much money, like that going into that first final. We had all these quizzes, and like, I was just destroyed. And the crazy thing is that I think I could have done it if I had done it outside of high school. That's the crazy part, is that like when I was at Wash, like oh my God, I remember our calculus memory sheets and like all this crazy math that we were doing. Like I could do it at Wash, but UCLA, not here to talk about that, but their undergrad curriculum is not what you would expect it to be. Let me just say that. And that I will talk about that once I discovered what I did later on. But again, the class I probably enjoyed most was German. I love the German language. And it was a night class, so that was really interesting too. And actually, I love that professor so much that she wrote me one of my letter of recommendations a little bit later when I needed one. But yeah, so those were the classes that I signed up for. Those were the classes that I took. And like in the nighttime, like I said, I didn't last in DiffyQs for that long. And so again, that brings us to like the beginning of 2014. Because, right, holiday season, still running my business, still living right there on the border of Santa Monica, Los Angeles, but, you know, by the federal building. So technically on the Los Angeles side. In the next part, I'm going to talk about my driving school experience because, yeah, you'll see that is worth its own part. Absolutely. So that's literally one of the most useful skills that I have. And I don't take it for granted because San Francisco, at least when I was growing up in San Francisco, like, you don't drive. You know, people don't drive here very much. It's a lot like New York, and things have changed, but like, I'm still very much of the opinion we have a better transportation system, public transportation system than most of the United States. You don't need a car. I don't understand this whole idea of like paying for insurance, paying for parking. And plus, Bip City, y'all, yeah, where they break into your car for literally having a chapstick in it. Like, again, I rent one when I need one. So that's one of the biggest perks of living here. And it's also really effing expensive. So it's not the cheapest city. So anyway, with that being said, driving is a useful skill and it is not one that I take for granted. And my parents, you know, I didn't learn from them. I was really lucky to get driving school tickets from my ex. So, not my ex yet. Anyway, talk about that in the next part.